Hello, and thank you for taking your time to listen to our review of your company, Starbucks. Brian Back, Jeff Condren, and myself, Michael Millian, will be discussing Starbucks' strategy, strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities for the company. To begin, we will review with the strategic problem with Starbucks.
We have identified two areas we believe where there are issues with the strategy, but also see them as opportunities for growth. The first is on the domestic level. We've seen that Starbucks has faced more competition in recent years. Food service companies such as McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts have increased their own resources toward coffee production, and they're increasing product lines. Customers looking for a cheaper, quicker coffee now have more options available to them. We see this as an opportunity for Starbucks to attempt to target this demographic of cost-conscious or on-the-go customers. While still focusing on quality and dedication to service, there should be an effort to appeal to this market segment to increase market share. The second issue is on the global level, where the Starbucks brand has failed to catch on in other regions and countries, at least to the same extent as it did in the US. Many stores have closed overseas as there seems to be less interest in gourmet coffee. There is still an opportunity for growth on the global level, but the strategy needs to be more focused on the different regions and cultures rather than applying the same format that worked in the US. The Starbucks brand would remain the same, but the products offered are done so with concentration to the local demand. Better partnerships with foreign companies can help create the brand awareness needed to succeed. Starting with external analysis, the PEST model takes a look into four specific areas that are important to the strategy. The first is the political and legal side of things, which includes a lot that is crucial to Starbucks' operation. Stores must maintain a high standard in accordance to health code and food regulation to consumers. Coffee bean cultivation must be done in sustainable ways and in regulation with the FDA. And then on an international level, trade and tax law must be considered with having to deal with many different countries and regions. Further, in regards to the economic segment, currency exchange rates, trends in consumer purchasing, and income must also be considered. Countries or regions that have a higher unemployment rate or lower disposable income averages may have more conscious consumer group not interested in spending money on premium products. This ties into the socio-cultural factors. Different lifestyles and affluence levels can have an influence on consumption. Health-conscious individuals may prefer alternatives to caffeinated products, or aging population in one region may not understand or buy into the trendy brands. Finally, Starbucks' tech side are geared toward helping create a customer-centric experience, as their physical stores are essentially internet cafes offering free Wi-Fi to customers. A big presence on popular social media platforms has allowed the company to take advantage of free advertising and market their products to specific target audiences.
So while from a internal perspective, Starbucks is looking pretty good, from an external analysis, we can see that they're suffering from more and more growing threats from competition. The McDonald's, Nestle's, Dunkin' Donuts of the world, and even in some cases where customers are choosing a little pep me up from the new sports or energy drinks from Monster and Red Bull. We also notice that in an effort to expand, we are now having outlets in many different countries, which gives us a opportunity and some problems with currencies, different country cultures, languages, and even that of supply chain issues. So really, if we look at it, one of the main problems we have as a company is that of pricing. We have become kind of a niche retailer, much like an Apple, if you will, where we are basically pricing ourselves into a limited market. We are saying to the consumer that we understand that there are many places that you can go to get your coffee and other drinks, but here at Starbucks, we are different, we are better, and therefore you are willing to pay that price. And that will be true for many consumers. However, I think it would be in Starbucks' best interest to not exclude the rest of the market, and maybe some research into market expansion and product expansion, especially where it comes to pricing, would be a good call. Maybe a entry level, if you will, kind of product that could better compete with the McDonald's and the Dunkin' Donuts of the world.
Internally, Starbucks has a strong value chain, which focuses on quality throughout. By choosing your own suppliers, you're able to ensure that the quality of your beans are to your standards. This also allows you to know which farms the beans come from and make sure they provide high quality beans and farm with integrity. Furthermore, choosing the bags the beans are shipped in allows for almost full control of the beans' freshness. When it comes to the customer, a standardized drink preparation allows the company to sustain quality. Finally, the product development is disciplined and allows the baristas working in the chain to create and submit their own creations for review. They can possibly become a staple on the menu from this. The culture of the company enables the company to have a competitive advantage. By treating your employees well, they will be able to forward that on to the customer. Offering them healthcare and caring for their opinions and skills as a barista by considering their creations to put on the menu gives them pride to work there. By instilling a just say yes policy, employees are properly trained for any type of customer request. Providing the in-depth training, time and training shows them that they care for their success as an employee. The culture also aligns well with the values of being sustainable. This is seen through Starbucks joining a LEED program for energy and water efficiencies. Finally, though Starbucks is large, it has a local feel about it. Having conversations with customers and having soft skills to all employees shows that allows the customers to feel welcome and comfortable within these stores. Finally, the resources and finances of Starbucks show the strategy of the company. Starbucks has 11,446 US stores and 5,000 and growing international stores in 49 countries. The revenue from 2006 to 2008 also depicts this strategy. Overall growth was 33%. The US stores grew 27% and international store revenues grew 62%. This was mainly driven by the new store ventures within these countries. As we can see, the resources and finances depict that the strategy is successfully working for international growth.
Continuing on our strategy of different pricing, we've been very successful at Starbucks through expansion. And many retailers look at this as their primary rate of growth and their primary look towards profitability and how strong the company is. However, again, referencing back to limiting ourselves in market share, I think the old adage of taking a step backwards to go forward might be in play here. Taking a look at an entry-level product or product line that allows us to now include many segments of the market that we've excluded by our pricing in the past would give us an advantage in the long run of capturing and taking market share from people that are going after this demographic at the current time. So by maybe taking a note from or a clue from the auto industry, if you will, where many manufacturers will start off with a baseline product and then add you in an upgrade. They will add in more luxurious type model lines as they become more known. Starbucks should kind of go back to that philosophy. They have their market share as far as the luxury drinkers, if you will, the quote-unquote snob appeal that Starbucks has been afforded. But now let's focus on getting the everyday consumer that is stopping by McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts, paying $1 for their coffee. They just want a quick cup of joe and thus far we've kind of excluded them as a company. So I think if Starbucks, if we were to spend more research time on how to capture that demographic, um, again, going backwards to go forward, and capturing our competitors' market will help Starbucks grow and be more profitable in the long run.
The recent failures of some stores overseas should not deter Starbucks from attempting to expand, but rather allow the company to refocus the strategy. There is not a cookie-cutter template that will guarantee success in every market, so a multi-domestic strategy should be implemented. Part of the failures from past overseas endeavors is because there are cultural differences and varying consumer preferences throughout the world. A multi-domestic strategy This is where the implementation comes into play. Associating the Starbucks brand with established brands in different market segments will be crucial to the success. This will help with brand recognition and will build beneficial relationships with trusted brands in the other markets. However, Starbucks must also be careful with the product mix they decide to offer. In the early days of the company, the business model was simple. They offered coffee products prepared and served with attention to quality. Starbucks has since grown into a much more complex restaurant-type store, offering many different products including music, muffins, fruits, and